With so many people being told to shelter in place, the economy in a tizzy, there's a worldwide race for a vaccine and/or cure, but how fast and when will that happen? Also, what will the cost be? As the outbreak in China spread, one U.S. drug maker, Rising Pharmaceuticals, doubled the price of the potential treatment, chloroquine, the anti-malarial drug that President Trump has been touting. According to the Financial Times, Rising said the price rise was coincidental, and it restored the old price once it realized that the drug might be in demand because of the outbreak. The reversal of the price lift has not yet shown through in the data. Joining me now is Gerald Posner. He is the author of the new book, Pharma, Greed, Lies, and the Poisoning of America. Gerald, might sunshine, might attention serve to prevent price gouging when there is a vaccine?
Well, I don't think so, Michael, not necessarily, and that's the big danger. What Rising Pharmaceuticals did here is a perfect example of what drug companies often do. They see an opportunity. I think in many ways the pandemic, and this is a cold calculus, is one of the biggest profit opportunities in a generation for many drug companies. And this is a case also where Trump gets ahead of the science. So, he was the one who originally tweeted that this was approved, chloroquine, for COVID-19. Guess what? 20 minutes later, the FDA had to come out and say, no, it's not. He's the one who had a tweet that said it's low risk. Guess what? It's for malaria and some types of arthritis, has all types of laundry list of side effects, including some for heart patients that are toxic. Yet the company doubles the price. We're just getting a taste for what I talk about in 5 years of research in the book. This is the DNA of Big Pharma. They come up at a time when we're in need, and they often get a high price because of the fact we're desperate and willing to pay it.
Gerald, there's an international race underway. Great coverage in the Times yesterday on this. Am I right in believing that whichever nation has its scientists first develop this vaccine is going to determine who among us globally is first in line?
Yeah, no, I think that nationalism is absolutely the worst possible thing to add into the entire mix of vaccine and a pandemic. One thing we know, and it's one of the heroes in my book is Jonas Salk, who invented the polio vaccine. They asked him what country should have it and what company should own it. He said, could you patent the sun? It's impossible, and that's why we stopped polio, why we got rid of smallpox. If the Chinese, who have over 100 of their top scientists working on this vaccine, or Trump in America says America first, it's absolutely a disaster. Microbes do not respect whether you're Chinese, whether you're American, Democratic, or Republican. They're an equal opportunity devastator. And if countries think they can own it, they can't.
If it's developed in the United States, presumably tax dollars would have gone into a significant part of that research. Won't that hold the price in check?
You would think so. Look, one of the things I talk about in the book repeatedly is that the NIH, the National Institute of Health, which is taxpayer-funded research, $900 billion we have spent since the 1930s. Drug companies take that research and then patent it into drugs that they sell for billions of dollars. By the way, $700 million we've spent since SARS in 2003 just on researching coronaviruses, which is going to go into this. So the drug companies that talk about a lot of money for research and development, it's not really true on public events like this. It comes in, and we know, Michael, from the past what they do. We have laws against price gouging, and people were being arrested just for trying to sell a hand sanitizer for $200, and they should be. But in this case, in 1976, when we had the swine flu in America, 100 million doses of the vaccine held back from the government by companies we know like Wyeth and Merck and Park Davis. They wouldn't give it out for public inoculation until they got a guarantee of a reasonable profit. In the $8.3 billion funding bill, emergency funding bill passed the other day, pharma lobbyists were able to strip out the government's ability to hold down prices. And even on HIV and AIDS, and I have an entire chapter I talk about this, Burroughs, which got the drug finally, the first drug out, it was all done at government research. They developed it, they improved it, yet Burroughs made it the most expensive drug in the world at $10,000 a dose. Despite all the howling protests, they made billions of dollars on it, and we, the taxpayers, funded it. That can't be allowed to happen again. And if we do, shame on us, because we want the vaccine, but we don't want to pay anything for it.
I read the book. I understand the history. I think that illuminating conversations like this, call me naive, will seek to hold the industry in check, and our first objective is find the vaccine. Gerald, thank you so much.
I agree. Thank you, Michael.